On day one of Christianity, you were told that you found the truth. And the truth is that God loves you so much, but he's also super mad at you because you were born and you were terrible from the moment you were born. And he can't really deal with that. So you're going to have to pay, but he loves you so much. He sent his own son to die in your stead so that you can be with him for eternity. And that is the truth. That's what you're told on day one. You're given this concept of an absolute truth, and that's where you begin. The thing is, outside of religion and outside of a threat of eternal damnation, there really is no requirement to have the absolute truth about anything. And I'm talking about things that are that can't be proven. We cannot prove what happens after someone dies or before they die, or anything that's happening on a supernatural or metaphysical level. I mean, metaphysics or quantum physics is getting close, but we really can't prove stuff. So this need to have the truth on it is possibly misplaced. I'm advising that while you're deconstructing your religious faith, your Christian faith, you also need to deconstruct the need to find the truth. And I'll tell you why. First, I'm Brianna. I'm a life coach, and my goal is to support you in your religious deconstruction and your connection with God. So, as I mentioned, as I explained, you were given the truth, and there was sort of a threat attached to it. Now, when you're outside of the confines of religion, there's no consequence to not having the truth. So if you really want to begin to consider things and free your thinking, you need to free yourself from that expectation. The other reason you need to free yourself from the expectation of finding the truth is because there's so much information to consume about Christianity, the Bible, as well as your own experiences and the experiences of the people from your network that you need to process, that it's so easy to get consumed and sort of allocate your energy to something that's not truly going to get you where you think you're trying to go. Because you're trying to consume, possibly, if you're like me, consume so much information so you can find that thing, the truth, the gotcha. But it's never ending because there's so much. So you have to let go of the expectation of finding the truth. Christians will often ask you what your etymology is if you share that you have different beliefs. And they're asking that because to them, for someone to believe something, they have to feel the same way about it as they feel about their Christian beliefs. Once again, if there's no threat or there's no consequence to what you believe, it's not going to be the same. And I think that that's worth mentioning because that can end a lot of fruitless conversations and help you just to recognize where you're at in the conversation. A lot of people will say, well, you don't believe in the Bible. And you may believe in the Bible, but you don't want to believe in the Bible, but you want to believe in this other thing in this other book. But it's just not the same quality of belief because there's no consequence to believe in it. If it is, in fact, something that doesn't harm anyone and can't be proven. I'm one of those people that feel like you also can't expect to be able to perceive the truth. We're 3D people, and the things that are the mysteries of the universe are beyond that. So how can we as humans, with our limited capacity to even function on Earth, going to be able to conceptualize all that actually is, and especially the mind of the creator of the universe. I don't think that that's reasonable. I just don't think that that's reasonable or possible. And I also have found in this journey that you never arrive. So these are kind of two separate things, but also the same thing. Don't expect to find absolute truth, and recognize that you never arrive. When I first began learning about spirituality, when I first started learning new spiritual concepts, I came up with theories like why we're here, there's these different levels, and then a few months later, I thought something different. And then a few months later, I thought something different. And I finally realized I'm never going to get to the end of it, because as my consciousness and my awareness and my healing expands, so does my ability to perceive a new idea. When I first deconverted, I had this experience of like friends just popping up who were also embarking on their spiritual journey in the same way. And I had one friend that she was going through some stuff. She thought she was having a mental breakdown, but that's how a lot of people feel when their spiritual gifts are opening up. So she had seen a shaman, and she was telling me about the experience and why she wasn't going to continue to work with him. And one of the reasons was because she knew that his group were into aliens, and she didn't want to get into that. I was like, aliens? I had never, kind of like I mentioned previously in a previous video, I always believed in reincarnation. Likewise, I've always believed in aliens, but just like the reincarnation, I really didn't have any reason to like really test that, or, it's just like, I didn't think it was impossible. But when she started talking about aliens, I couldn't conceive of it in a real way. Like, I didn't see where that fit in or anything. Now, I can believe Jesus was an alien. I truly can. I can believe Yahweh was an alien. I'm not saying that that's what I think, but I could believe it. And that's because I've learned so much other stuff. I've created so many other neural pathways that now I'm able to conceptualize an idea as outlandish as that. So as long as we continue to expand, what we can conceive of continues to expand. So if we can allow that process and allow the possibility that we never arrive, we put ourselves in a position to continue to learn. When you decide you found the truth is when you start biasedly disqualifying other things that very well could be true, because they then affect this thing that you've put your faith in. Speaking of putting your faith in things, I want to make this point as well. You don't need to believe in anything I say or anything anyone else says. You can believe it, you can like it, you can hear it, but you don't need to like put your faith in it. You don't need to specifically subscribe to it. Now, you can subscribe to this channel, and please do, but you don't need to put your faith or attach so much to an idea or a person that you are unable to consider if this person is wrong, or you take it very personally if this person or this idea is wrong. You never arrive. The things you are convicted about today, you may not be convicted about or convicted of in the future. And that's just how life is supposed to go. For this reason, whenever I see someone who calls themselves some sort of a spiritual leader being condescending or hateful toward a person that is not making the best decisions or statements, I feel like that's a sign that they haven't actually become enlightened, because with enlightenment comes your awareness that everyone is at some point on their own awakening journey. So you should have compassion for the way they perceive the world, which impacts the choices that they make, because they haven't gotten to the level of consciousness that you have. So you should look at it with compassion, because at one point you were there. You might not have done the same things, but you were just as asleep or awake. You were just as aware or unaware. So there should be no judgment between that, because we're all on the spectrum. I think I've said everything. So all of that said, do you agree that this expectation to find the truth is a religious concept? And do you notice yourself believing in people or things? The other point I wanted to make about that was, if you don't deconstruct the expectation to find truth, you run the risk of, if you don't find the truth in your current religion, Christianity, you go to a different religion or you go to New Ageism. And you've deconstructed the ideas, but you haven't deconstructed the way that your thinking has been affected, or the person that you are. And so when I see stories about people who say they went from Christianity to New Ageism and now they're back, or their life got messed up or something, I always think that's because you just traded one belief system for another. It's not just the ideas that can be problematic, but it's the way that it takes away our ability to think for ourselves and make our own choices. So then you jump into something like New Ageism, which has real implications, the things that you have access to learn to do through TikTok and whatever. You're doing these things because you think you know, you think you found the truth, when you don't really understand or appreciate the process of becoming enlightened through that. And you do things that you're not ready to do, and you mess your life up. Or you go to something else and you're still being the same person, but you're also not having the network that you came with from, that you had in Christianity. You're not having the sense of identity and belonging in society, and you're also not having sort of the pride that comes with it, which I guess is kind of the same as what I just said. And the comfort, the ease of it. It is convenient. Christianity is more convenient than doing it on your own. And so you feel like you feel better for those extra reasons, even though things aren't actually, they might not actually be better. You might not actually be more free. So I've said everything I need to say. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe if you are interested in these concepts, and comment your answers to the earlier question. Do you think that needing to find the truth is a religious expectation? Inform me, educate me in the comments. Thank you. See you in the next video.